Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming and listening to me today. I'm so happy to be here and grateful to have you all in my class. And this is a great time on earth right now. We're all going through such wonderful integration of energies and frequencies coming in that chakra balancing is a wonderful idea for most of us. Really doing that check-in, with our energy and seeing what our bodies need. I'm going to talk just a little bit, and I'm going to go through this fast because we don't have time to go through every single chakra in 30 minutes. So it's just a brief understanding of the chakras, what they're about, and then I'll talk about one of the chakras more intimately. But my name is Marie Georgopulos, and I'm the owner and creator of Heart Transformations. My booth is right across from the stage here. And I'm an intuitive counselor, divine messenger. I'm also a healer and a spiritual mentor, and I'm writing my first book, which is called From Wounded to Awakened. It's the story of my journey. I'm not going to go deep into explaining the story of my journey other than I come from a dysfunctional family. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Of alcoholics, and there was sexual abuse and things of this nature in my background that led me on a healing journey, because that whole experience just started to rip a hole in my immune system, and I had a lot of chronic illnesses from childhood on that led into my adulthood. And as I started to look for alternative ways to heal myself, because I did not want to die like my mother did very young of cancer, and her mother and my sister as well just recently. They all died in their 40s, and I was 38 years old, and I was very, very sick and couldn't breathe. The asthma had gotten so bad there was nothing working. And I said to myself, I am not dying. I have my daughter here. I'm not going to be the mother, the mother to my daughter that my mother was to me. God bless her. She was suffering. She needed all the help she could get, but I couldn't be that for her. I had to grow up myself. So I made the decision that I would just start seeking for anything alternative, and that led me on my soul's path into healing first, taking Reiki and energy work and things of that nature. And then I was like this kid in a candy store that had opened up to a whole new realm of belief and possibility and wonder, and I knew it was my purpose. I knew I had to start doing this and start to educate myself more so that I could step into my power in becoming a spiritual teacher. And so today I like to do these readings because it helps me to really integrate with my higher passion and my higher will, and it helps me to learn things too. And as a student, as we all are of life, right, we begin to understand things about our subconscious. And so today I'm going to take you through just a little bit of what chakras do for us. So chakras are a part of, how many of you know what a chakra even is? Vaguely. So the Sanskrit word chakra means wheel, okay? And so they are basically energy vortexes, and many people have seen them as wheels of light, or have seen them as cones, kind of like looking like a tornado that leads back into the body. So it's a part of our subtle body, an energy field that expands us, right, that extends past us, that we can't necessarily see unless it's through our sixth sense. But we can feel it. We can feel the energy. And so a chakra is really a tool for us. Each one of these energetic pathways leads back into our organs. So it's a way for our spirit, basically, to communicate back into our physical being. So it's a part of the whole system of who we are as a body, mind, and spirit. And so each one of the chakras has its purpose. There are 7 main chakras. One starts at the base here, goes up into the belly button area, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart center, the throat, third eye, and the crown. Those are the 7 main chakras that feed back into our organ system. And then, of course, there are chakras on your elbows, your palms, and all those things. So there's over 100
234.
Yes, thank you. And there are chakras even that go into our subtle bodies as well, but we won't go in depth into that today. But these chakras really are here to help us to balance our life. So when things start to get off balance mentally, emotionally, physically, our spirit is wanting to really take over and help us to balance that. And in order to do that, we have to know what our body is telling us, right? So let's say, for instance, I have, acid reflux as a condition in my life. Well, that acid reflux happens in this part of my body, and so it's related to my solar plexus chakra. Now, as a chakra becomes distorted, and it can become distorted from many different things, from emotional things in our life, or mental things that are going on. Those might be subconscious beliefs. They might be beliefs that we believe ourselves that are negative or limiting in some way. They can be spiritual things that we've come in as a soul to really transcend and understand in this lifetime. So I would then, look at myself and go, oh, I've got this thing going on here, so this is solar plexus stuff. This has to do with something that's happening in my life, something that I feel. Now, solar plexus, real briefly, has a lot to do with our power to make decisions, our self-empowerment, our trust in ourselves. It has a lot to do with even who we were as children and having confidence, the ability to really rise to the occasion. And so when I'm having difficulty in my body, then I know that I've got some discordant belief system, or I've got some kind of limiting perception that's keeping me from maybe making a decision in my life, that's keeping me from really trusting and empowering around my spiritual principles maybe. So once you know kind of what those emotional and mental components are of each one of the chakras, you can begin to look at your body and the signals that it's giving you, the disease and discomfort that's in your body, and go, okay, I know it's associated with this chakra. This chakra is teaching me X, Y, and Z. These are the actions that I need to take. This is what I need to meditate on and understand. What is the belief that is keeping me from making that decision? And moving forward maybe in my purpose in a more powerful way. So teaching yourself to really quiet yourself is also key to allowing yourself to go inward and seek the wisdom of each one of your chakras. Now, we can't all do this, right? We all have to practice this, and it takes time, just like anything. It's a practice, and it builds one upon the other. Every day that you go into the practice, your mind goes freer and freer. You become more consistent in it. You become more sensitive. But beyond even that, you can begin to balance your chakras even without having access to this divine intelligence. You work your way up to it. So, for example, I'm going to go over the base chakra today. So if you look at the first chakra here on your, for example, portion of the sheet here.
Do you have another sheet?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Thanks, sir.
There you go. So the first chakra resonates with the color of red. Each chakra has its own tone and its own color that's associated. Everything in the universe is vibration. Everything in the universe has its sound. And so the base chakra has the color red. So at a minimum, you can always put red, you can put the colors in your chakra and just imagine this. You can play chakra balancing CDs that play the tones that go into there. You might find that during this meditation, what happens is your chakra will, or your spirit will speak to you, and you'll have an idea on what to take action on. You may even feel an impression come to you like, man, I gotta get up and get my job going, which is a very base chakra thing. So it's located at the base of the spine and right about where your tailbone is. And like I said, it's the color of red, but it also is physically associated with all of the legs and the feet. It's associated with the skeletal system, the immune system, the rectum, and of course anything that has to do with the base of the spine area. Emotionally now, it's related to our family of origin. It can also be a tribe that we're a part of, like I have a client tribe that I'm a part of and that I'm creating. It can also be associated with security, our sense of security in life. The firm foundations that we have in place to grow from. Now, coming from a family of dysfunction, I really had to make sure that I was in a stable career in order for me to survive. Even way back then as a child, I knew I had to be rooted in a career and making money if I was going to get out of this family and live on my own. And so my one thing was to focus on college. I had an inner student archetype that was pushing me through all of this. But of course, if we don't have our basic survival, our needs fulfilled, then we can be totally ungrounded in the world. We have survival problems, and I saw this with my sister. She wasn't able and wasn't capable to take care of herself. And it got worse and worse and worse until her whole immune system literally started to shut down, and eventually she died from all of her illnesses. So knowing these things helps you to really understand, I've got to take some actions toward getting food on my plate, or I've got to get my job in order, or I've got to really have the ability to stand up for myself, because this is a very base chakra thing too. Have stability and security in my life, a life plan that I can grow from. Sometimes when we start out on a new endeavor too, like for me when I changed my careers from fashion design to intuitive counseling, that was a big leap of faith for me, and it totally uprooted my family and me. And so naturally I had an imbalance in my base chakra. So what do? I go and I make a plan for myself. This is my new vision. This is my plan for the future. This is how I'm going to grow my business. I went back to school. How do I run a business? That starts to stabilize me. And the parts of me, right, the psyche of me, begins to feel safe again. Right? I have a plan of action. I know I have food on the table. I'm okay to take action on this. Good to go. Everything's balanced. So in some ways, you can help this and assist this chakra to come back into balance by also doing the meditation things, right? Not just the actions, but also the meditation that goes along with it. And here are some things that you can do for the base chakra. One of them is to, like I said, put red light in there in your meditation. You can also chant the sound. Every one of the 7 chakras has a vowel sound that's associated with it. So in your meditation, you can chant That will begin to bring that tone into that, and you can do it silently. You don't have to say it out loud either. You can just do it silently. You can pamper your feet. I know this sounds silly, but believe me, when I start to build a new dream and stuff and I feel off balance and I'm not sure of my vision yet, I pamper my feet. My feet are my sure footing in the world. And of course, your feet represent your entire body, right? With reflexology, you're treating your whole system. So in treating my feet, I'm actually able to begin to sometimes get into the massage of my feet, and then I get an idea. Okay, I gotta work on that plan again tomorrow. There's something that I need to tweak. There's something that I need to get more sure-footed about in the world so that I feel safe. So you can also take action on bringing more stability in your life. For instance, if you don't have a secure financial plan, maybe you're in debt and you want to pay that off, so you want to start to maybe see a financial advisor and take some steps toward it. So we have this part of ourselves that wants to sabotage ourselves sometimes, right? And keep us in this sort of lower vibration. It's our ego, you know. It's a part of us that I feel is really to be loved and appreciated because it teaches us to stand up on our feet. It teaches us to really come back into harmony with Source. Because we all know it doesn't feel good, right, to have debt lingering or to not know where we want to go in our career, or, you know, to have insecurity in our life in any way. So when we start to take actions toward actually fulfilling those needs, you know, putting structure out there to make sure that we have all of our needs fulfilled, our base chakra will then start to click in and start to come back into harmony. And you'll begin to see those physical things that are going on. Maybe you have achy feet. Maybe you have wobbly legs or knee problems. Anything that's physical that's going on in that part of the body means that your base chakra is partially closed down. And therefore, taking any of these actions to build yourself a life plan, to get more stable, more secure. Maybe you have some family issues that you need to resolve, and your tribe, you know, there was dysfunction there. Maybe there's some forgiveness work. Maybe there's something on a soul level that you haven't quite understood yet. This is where an intuitive counselor can help you, or hypnosis, or many types of therapies out there that can help you to get to those core lessons that your soul is here to learn in a lifetime. I have found myself that healing happens in layers. And so sometimes you head out on one path, like my fashion design career before this career, and you get headstrong in it, and your soul's like, wait a minute, I don't want you to go too deep into that, artist. You've got family healing right here, and it's stopping you from really looking at this whole part of you, which is a joyful, spiritual being. Well, back then, I was so far from spirit. I mean, I didn't know myself. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I just knew as a child, I had a gift to draw, you know, and I had a gift to sing. And so I wanted to be one of those two things, and I set out on a path with single-minded point and focus. But in order for me to really be stable in making any other leaps of faith, I had to learn to work with people, and I had to learn to understand how to build a business in order to go into my next level of career and trust. But all of those psychic wounds from my family, right, kept me feeling not purposeful, not on my path, struggling with, you know, all kinds of irritable bowel stuff too going on. Of course, I thought it was a medicine that they were giving me, but it had a lot to do with how I thought about myself and how I thought about my family and how all of the beliefs that I had and the dysfunction that I was involved in, the excessive alcohol abuse itself, myself as well. That was just part of our family, you know, modus operandus. And so once I began to really realize the connection between how my body was assimilating energy and what it was telling me, then I could go inward and I could seek those things that I needed to course correct on in my journey. And it only happens one at a time. Because if you try to do every chakra at one time, you would get so overwhelmed. So I always recommend that people start at the base chakra, do their, you know, intuition gathering, their meditation, see what it is, you know, from these points even that I gave you today. Maybe there's something that I can work on here. If there's anything going on in your hips or in your feet, or maybe you have even fungus on your toenails, that would all be associated with base chakra imbalance. And so by doing the energy work with the focused visualization and taking some actions towards the things that you feel imbalanced in, you'll begin to see those physical representations of the dysfunction, right? And really, those are all dysfunctions of the mind. It all started with some belief. It all started, and all a belief is a thought that was rethought and retrained into your subconscious over and over again. Whether it's a good belief or a bad belief, it's all the same. So take your time with each of the chakras. A really great book that I would recommend is called True Balance by Sonia Choquette. It is the first book that I used and studied with, and it's a workbook type of book, and she also has a course online if you prefer courses, like a video course. Her last name is spelled Choquette, Sonia Choquette, and she's with Hay House, so you can go on Hay House and find her there too. But most of all, our own bodies contain all the energy of all the colors of the rainbows, right? All the colors of the rainbow is us. And so when we want to be in harmony, we have to look to each one of the chakras. When we start to work with each one of the chakras, you'll begin to see all the things in our life, all the struggles that we have, start to fade away as we begin to align with the truest purpose of our soul, right? And there's deep work to do in each one of those chakras, but even just getting started can help your body to start to heal, especially if you're having physical issues. That's why a lot of healers will use chakra balancing tools, CDs, stones that they lay that resonate with each one of the chakras, so they can at least get some of the stagnant energy flowing again. But you can do this on your own as well by listening to the sound therapy and also bringing in the color in your visualization. We are powerful beings in this way. Where our mind goes, energy flows. Okay, so if we bring our mind and our attention to the area, we can literally even speak to that chakra. Because it is divinely intelligent. It's run by our divine intelligence. It's also a part of an extension of our auric field. So every chakra is a layer of our auric field on up to the crown, which is the farthest layer of our auric field. And so as we begin to work with clearing that, our auric field becomes in harmonic resonance with the rest of our bodies. We have stronger bodies, more vitality. We are more sure-footed. We can make decisions a lot easier. We also have an integrity in our mind. We're able to create better in the universe, which is done through our thoughts and our emotions. But many times we do have to do that deep chakra work in order to get to that back pile of emotional, suppressed emotions sometimes that lay within ourselves, that lay within the chakra energy systems, the meridians that feed back into the chakras as well. And we do this by listening, by tuning to new energy and new beliefs, and understanding what the core belief is that we need to heal. I use the word heal. There's so many ways to heal, but I find that the best way is to really go inward and listen to your own inner healer, which is, of course, your higher self. And I feel too that as you get more empowered around doing this process, it'll become easier and easier and easier. At first you may need some help, and have instruction from somebody. I have my mentors too when I get blocked and have my blind spots, that I go to, and I'm not seeing something, I don't know what it is, but I have this, hormonal thing going on. I don't want to buy into the whole menopause thing. I'm too young for that. And sure enough, there is an underlying soul karma thing that we can actually go into and transmute. And I'm talking about all of this because I want you to know the depth at which you can heal yourself in just going into your heart, going into each one of your chakras, and allowing it to occur, and knowing that you have the power to do so. Knowing that you have the power to do so yourself. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way, and sometimes, in my deepest, darkest hours of healing, I really needed to be able to have somebody that I could rely upon, that was open psychically, that could understand what my soul wanted for me and lead me into the next step. And God bless all of them for their patience as I move through all these levels and layers of my own disharmony, my own core beliefs of lack of trust and doubt and you know, I'm not good enough, or I can't speak up, all those things that come from, you know, being in a relationship where there's a lot of codependency and a lot of neglect. This is not a pity me story. This is a triumphant story of love and acceptance and understanding self. So I wanted to hand out this information on a new class that I have coming up. And it is a chakra healing and wisdom course that I'm developing. And it is going to be an online course for 8 weeks. And it's something that you can listen to from your home. There'll be recordings, so if you can't come that specific night, you can go back and listen to the recording. And we're going to go deep into each one of the chakras, what their purpose is, what are the layers in there, what are the spiritual elements of them. We're going to take psychic journeys inward together. I'm going to open the lines and intuitively guide you as well, if there's anything that you weren't able to intuit for yourself. At the end, we'll take an Akashic record journey into your soul's records, and we'll work with the Akashic record keepers on activating our psychic centers even, because those lie within our chakra system. So each of you will have your purpose in there, and you may only have 2 chakras that you need to balance. You may have all 7 that you need to shore up a little bit. But each of you will receive what you need, what the next piece is, so that you can go forward and have more harmony, more joy, and more capacity to come back into balance and restore if you have health issues, or if there are emotional issues, or even mental clarity issues going on. So this is not a course for the faint-hearted, because it is deep work, okay? And you can go as deep as you want. Know that your source is going to take you where you're capable of being. And as a healer and as a person who's done this work for herself, I know that there can be release during this. So I'll be there to guide you through all of this. You'll be able to connect with me via email if you feel during the 8 weeks that something is going on and you're not sure. And I'll bring it up in the next course for you all, let you know in the email to look at this or look at that. So this is a lot of personal care time for you. If you're interested in this, for you guys right now, even though all the people here are getting a discount that come to my table, but for you guys here in this room, you can have this for $97 if you sign up today. Okay, so that's $200 off what I will be offering it for in the future as a course without my guidance. It'll just be online for people to go on their own. So if you have any questions about it and you want to know where maybe your soul might take you in this course, meet me at my booth over here, and if I have a little time block, we can sign up and chat, okay? Otherwise, I have a credit card thing here. You're welcome to hand it out. I'll hand it out to you, and you can fill it out and return it to me. Okay? Any questions before we close?
I feel working. I'm working with some folks who have MS, which is incurable. It has ups and downs, remission. So when you're talking about healing, well, I tell these people that healing is different from being cured. But your thoughts?
Yes, I personally have the belief that nothing is incurable, that I exist in the realm of possibility, but they have to have that belief. The people who have that disease have to have that belief. Now, energetically, they may also have a soul contract to learn through, I'll say, or to experience MS in their life, but that doesn't keep them from being a perfect expression of their soul. Okay? So shoring up their chakras will still help them. It will help them to ease some of the discomfort. It will help them to be able to come back into alignment with their hearts, most of the MS issues come from brain things, okay? And that can be from birth. It can be a congenital thing as well. So there are all kinds of deep healings that can happen for them, from implant removals, imprints, DNA, realignment. I have seen miracles happen with people who have incurable disease. I had an incurable disease of asthma. Okay, it's not MS, but my doctor said that's incurable. You'll have that the rest of your life.
Sorry. My son lost his too.
Yeah. So I honestly would say that you need to work with them in terms of what they are willing to receive. You know, not everybody's into alternative healing and, you know, into the whole world of delving into their chakras and meditation and these types of things. But everything in our universe is created by our mind. It's created by our mind and our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs. And so getting them on the path of least resistance is what's most important at first, and chakra balancing is the first phase of that. And then from there, they can become tuned more to what the next step is. You have to always work with the first steps first and meet the client where they're at vibrationally. And then from there, because you can't bring them into a huge leap of faith, right? It won't work. It just won't work. Because we are biology of belief. And any miracle is going to happen. It's going to happen by the power of belief and positive expectation, coupled with the knowing of how we're put together. You know, I go to sleep every night and I use these gifts from the higher realms, or the rays of creation, because I've done deep study in that, and I've built a belief that this works, and I can feel it molecularly shifting, and my chakras coming more into balance, and harmony coming over, and stillness coming in my mind, my body, all of my body saying, "Yay, we're so glad you're doing this. We needed this tonight." So it works that way for people. It works that way for me because 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to lay in bed and believe that this was going to transmute my asthma because I couldn't breathe. So I had to take the first step first and start to build the belief. First, I had to look at what my core needs were and are they being fulfilled. And as these things started to be fulfilled, my psyche started to feel safer. Then I could go to the next level of healing and the next level of healing. So don't give up on your MS people. Just know that this can help them. It can help to start to bring them, shore up the energy, so to speak, clear some clogs, but they also have to be in agreement with going deeper into it.
Think of it as an air filter. Okay, you've got your air filter, and it's filtering your air as you're going in, right? If you don't change that filter out or clean it, it's going to gunk up, and the flow impedes. So you have to keep it clean. You have to try to.
That's a
work
really
with
good
it.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your name?
Jeannie.
Thank
Sorry.
you. No, thank you for that. I appreciate
But
that.
I visualize a lot, so that's one of the things
It's a
that
perfect
helps
way.
me. It's like, get all that stuff out of there, you know, pull it out. There's a little screen and it's all got these bits and pieces and you can pull them out as you go.
I'm teaching these MS people Qigong and Tai Chi. So,
That is perfect for them.
and
It
that's
really
perfect. I mean,
is.
they love it.
Yeah. So bring in some chakra tools in that, I would say. You know, the harmonics at least. Teach them the
Sound.
colors,
Yes,
the
sound
sound
will
or the
work. Yeah.
tones.
Sure.
Get them physically involved in it in another layer of depth. Yeah.
Because that will actually help you clear and it's amazing because we are all different. We don't all, some people do it on a spatial level, some people do it on a reading level, you know, it's all different. Every one of us is different and you have to find what works for you.
After about a year of teaching them, they're much more open to some of the more cosmic stuff I throw in their direction.
Yeah,
So,
and that book, True Balance, is a really good first book to direct them towards because it's very mainstream. And it's written in a very easy way for people to apply in the real world. Thank you for coming today, for listening. I appreciate each of you. Namaste.
you.